Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And my name is Ian.
And tonight is our Strength and Swings class, week number 4 of semester number 6. And we are coming down to the wire of 2023. Over this year, we've been working on our kettlebell skills, and including this semester where last week we progressed our single arm swings into some cheat cleans. We'll continue working on our cleans tonight along with our get-ups and our kettlebell. But first, we'll get started with a bodyweight warm-up. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. There will be some lunges today, so let's get down to those feet right away. Get up to the balls of feet or those metatarsal heads and press them into the floor. Then actually use your other leg and push that up to get tall onto 2 points, and then return the opposite leg to the ground. Spread out those toes, land on those metatarsal heads, and think about pulling to the middle. As you press up through the other leg one more time, a quick switch, hug to the middle. We'll bend those knees a little bit in today's practice too. So get a casual knee bend and then push through. When that leg is straight, lift up to a balance and switch. And the same thing. Maybe you feel a calf stretch, the bottom of the foot gets active. Push the hip through, check in, quick balance, and just take your time as both heels return to the floor. Then let's lend or bend both knees into a sit squat and lift the heels as you descend a little bit to the floor. Then have the knees slowly get there, extend those hips through, and I'll be checking in with the wrists and the head of the neck from this position on the ground. It starts with that chip chop on the hips as the hips go back, and the fingers, calluses, and full hands land on the floor. Making sure this feels safe and all right for you. At the head neck, lightly extend, forward face. Then do our chin tuck, looking between the hands. Repeat again, extension, and one more time, chin tuck. This position is more common through today's kettlebell practice. Now with the hands, push up to those metacarpal knuckles and back down, just like the feet were earlier. Repeating again, keeping the elbows nice and straight. Spread the load across the fingers, the callus line, armpits that stay out of our ears. And if we did that one more time, flick away the floor, push the hips through. Cramp the glutes. Think of this position as the top of that kettlebell swing. The rib cage is down onto the hips, glutes tight, and making sure we can breathe behind. Now let's make gentle fists on the ground, hinging on the hips, landing on the floor. Now one set of fingers will open. Then we might flex over that wrist to get it towards the floor. Then find the strength to come home of pushing down into the knuckles to return to stack. Repeat other side. The hand may open, and closer to the knee might be a little more available for the wrist, and then push down. And just repeat one more time. And the goal is not to get as stretchy as you can, but to fill in those gaps with your strength. Repeat one last time, flexing over the wrist, elbow nice and straight to stack. Before we leave this position, let's do a casual ear bend to shoulder. So a lateral neck bend here. Return through the middle. As my right ear goes towards that right shoulder, I need to soften to make room. And then same thing as I go to the left, soften the neck. And one more time to the other side to keep it even. Finish in the middle, and then flick the fingers away to get on through. We'll get in those shoulder blades now with that original hand position on the floor. It's the chip chop, fingers, calluses, full hands. We could keep the knees on the floor or hover them for an additional challenge. And at the shoulder blades retract, shrug, elevate, and push in the floor, wrapping around the body, and pull down to the hips. One more time. Chin tuck, shrug, wrap them around the rib cage, pull down to the hips, and just put the knees on the floor. Repeating in the opposite direction, knees down or hovered for an additional challenge. Start in a retraction or a squeeze, a pull down, a push into the floor, an elevate, shrug, and one more time, retract, down to the hips, into the floor, shrug, finish on a retraction, and push the floor away. One last thing for me is before we hand it to Lauren, it's the top of that kettlebell swing today where the hips are through. The rib cage is down. And the swing, we would have those arms out front. But today, we'll be tightening that up to the body in that rack position. So for a couple more seconds, cramp your glutes, wear your rib cage down, shoulder blade squeeze, and get into that double rack position. And then We'll shake it on over to what Lauren has in store for us.
Just like Ian said, we'll be doing some lunges today, so it's my favorite thing to warm up. Let's get to that right away. Vertical front shin, front leg pulling in, back hip extended and forward. Cage over top of hips. Now feel that tension pulling together. Then feel the change in forces as you push the floor forward and back, keeping the hips still extended, which means under your shoulder or upper body. Continue pushing so much you hover. Push so much you get to that mid station. Keep your front shin vertical, but lightly try to extend that back leg, squeezing the cheek. Then pull the floor together for a full descent and soft landing. We're going to go back up and add something different to our way down. Push again forward and back. Come to that tall position. Now lift that front heel off the floor as allowed. Keep the heel high, high, high off the floor. Front shin stays vertical. Leg pulls in. Soft landing. Heel comes down. Underneath. Zippity-doo-dah. Other side. Vertical shin. Cage. Back hip extended. We're pulling the floor together first, and then we're changing the forces to push forward and back. With that push, the hip stays extended underneath of us. Hover. Mid station. Up. Hips extended, back knees lightly straightened, and then again, pull the floor together underneath you. Now we'll push forward and back and come up to that tall position. We'll hover the heel off the floor of the front foot and control the descent. As we land softly, heel comes down, toe tucks back underneath of us, or leg tucks back, but toes are tucked. We'll rock ourselves back to that low squat position, whoom, heels down, push down and out to stand up tall. Give that a little shake. Let's do one more shoulder warm up, and then we'll get out our bell and start doing some get-ups. For the shoulder warm up, we are going to take our arm through a lovely circle. We'll start with one arm at a time. So with your arm at your side, feet planted square to the front of your room, lightly shrug a shoulder up, and then pull the shoulder down. With the shoulder pulled out of your ear, we'll straighten the arm towards the front of the room. Keep the elbow nice and straight as it comes to your overhead. You might have to move your t-shirt out of the way because those muscles bulge out. Now, as your arm gets to overhead, set that shoulder again. Check in with the elbow, could it go straighter? Come to your safe overhead. Next, we're going to continue reaching behind us as we do keep the rib cage down. We're starting to spin. I want you to think of rotating that elbow pit away and turning it down so much that you rotate and rotate and rotate so your baby finger comes forward, your palm faces away from you. Next, shrug your shoulder up, retract it, and lightly pull it down. Re-straighten your elbow. Reach to the back of the room. Then again, starting at the elbow pit of the humerus, rotate the arm open in the socket. Bring it towards overhead. Try not to rotate your upper body. Straighten your elbow. And then pull it down through concrete, engaging that lat as you return the arm back to your side. Shake that out. Toss it to the other arm. Slowly, with a nice straight arm, reach towards the front of the room. Then we missed one step. I'm sorry. Shrug your shoulder up. Pull your shoulder down. Keep it there. Reach the arm towards the front of the room. Adjust the sleeves as you get towards overhead. Once you're there, square up, re-straighten. Start rotating the elbow pit in as you reach around, drawing a nice circle. And again, you're spinning, you're spinning, you're spinning. You're internally rotating on that humerus so your baby finger comes forward, palm away. Lightly shrug up, retract, and pull down your blade. Elbow stays straight as you reach the arm towards the back of the room. With the straight arm, we start rotating in the humerus so the shoulder blade is stationary as a pit rotates open. Comes around, straighten your elbow again, bring it to overhead, straighten, good job, and then pull it back down, that was for me, to the side of your body. Give that a shake and wiggle. Crinks and cracks are okay, pinches and pains are not. So if you're feeling some discomfort towards the overhead, maybe avoid that position today, spending more time in rack or a firing range hold on our back.
It's get up time, but first, let's grab that bell and prep the one arm swing. And we can always regress that skill of the clean we'll explore later with these regressions, but they're not truly backward steps. They're just something that's a little bit different.
Non-linear.
For 3 repetitions, let's hike it to the groin and park it. We'll do that on the right and left side. Chip chop the hip, single grip on the bell. The body stays active but quiet as we pull it to the groin and then softly to the floor. Repeat again. Zipper, floor or park, zipper groin, park it. Stand up barehanded. I like to switch sides just by a half step and repeat, same thing other side. Stay square, breath in, pull, park, pull, park, pull, park, and let's stand up. Now for 2 unique repetitions, let's do 1 swing out to the front, park it, and repeat again for 2. Hip hinge, feel that preload, zip in air, pull to tall, and park, pull out front, and park. Body weight up. Same thing, other side. Hips back, preload that kettlebell onto the core as we pull, 1 unique swing, followed by a park, and a pull, 1 unique swing, and park. And we can put that all together, and this time we'll come back to that number 3, because it's a fan favorite, and do 3 consecutive 1-arm swings.
Bippity boppity.
Hip hinge, preload, zip in air, and pull. 1, and 2, and 3, and then we'll park it. Shakes and wiggles are allowed. Repeating 3 in a row. Hike, that's 1, and 2, and 3. We'll park it. Sorry, Figgy, we'll be okay there. And just checking in. If the worst or best thing you have to apologize is to the plant that you hit as you did that, that's okay. But check in. Those 1-arm swings, we'll come back to those progressions, including the clean. But I think it's time to
Get up.
get up.
We'll do that by starting on the floor. And just like last week, let's do some half get-ups today. So come on down, try not to use your hands, and we'll cuddle our bell. We're gonna start with 2 half get-ups here. Let me talk you through it.
Please do.
I will.
Please do.
Please join me in a cuddle, and then a roll, and then a press. On this first one, we are getting to our elbow, then to our hand. No sweep here, just lift your hips and hold a high bridge for 3, 2, bottom down, back to your elbow, to your back, pressing away from the elbow. Let's add on to the elbow, to the hand. This time we will bridge and we will sweep. Hold in your tripod here for 3, 2, sweep back through, find your elbow, press away from your elbow to your back. Pull the bell down, return it to the floor via the cuddle. Let it go, spin yourself around, and we'll do the same little routine.
Couple songs in there. Spin yourself around, right round, let it go, but we won't sing. But let's make sure those muscles sizzle with this strength of the get up. So it's a cuddle, a roll, a press. Here we are. Drive the hip, sit tall, and we'll bridge and hold a safe but high and powerful bridge position. And then safely drop your bum, transition to the elbow, and then return to the floor. Repeating again, it's a hip drive. It's a tall sit. This time we will bridge and sweep and hold. And then with control, sit. Find the elbow and off the elbow to the back. The 2 hands on the bell, the cool cuddle, and then the no hand stand up. Here we are. We did different swing variations and clean variations last week. Let's just do 1 quick repetition of that cheek clean, Lauren, straight up and down the body.
All right, 1 hand or 2.
1 hand up.
See?
I like my 2 hand down. We
Can't even decide.
2 hand down personally.
All right, we're gonna use 1 hand to get that bell to the rack position. So what that means is we're standing right over top. Our bell is in line with our feet. We'll use our hinge. We'll grip with 1 hand, but have our other hand to the side, square to the floor. Hip drives, punch through, get that bell to the rack position. With 2 hands on, keep it tight to the body, park. Let go with the 1 hand, do it again. Pack shoulder, zip punch, 2 hands, straight down. And 1 last time on this side, punch through that kettlebell, hold the rack, 2 hands, park. Place it down, shake it out, repeat on the other side.
Cool, cool.
Over top of the bell, hip hinge, 1 hand grips, hip drive, punch through. 2 hands to guide that bell down, keeping the shoulder packed. Repeat punch. Again, we have that firm grip because we don't want to let that kettlebell go, but we also have that light grip to be able to punch through. 2 hands, place the bell down. Take a breather.
Nice. Linking that skill with that swing skill is to take it from the rack position into the hike pass. Let's watch Lauren as she demonstrates 3 quick repetitions,
Let's watch.
and then we'll follow the same. Let's go 1 arm swing to the groin, and then, and then up. No, don't do that. Let's stand right over top of your bell. My mistake. Right over top of the bell, zip it straight up the way you just did. Now, return it out the back like a swing and park it out front. Stand up body weight, readdress your kettlebell by standing over top of it, and the same thing. Let's zip it up into that rack, and then the hike pass as you press it out the back and stand up. One more time on that side. It's the cheat clean, up. It's the hike pass on the down and the park. As Lauren does that second side, let's join in, and then she'll cue us some additional points as we finish.
You will travel in this. That is a normal thing. Over top of your bell, you will have to adjust that handle out to be parallel with your feet. Then punch through the body, little bit out front. Let it go. You can rotate it there or come back over top and repeat. Hinge, 1 hand on. Hips drive to punch the bell. Through, park in front. Up without, readjust your bell. Hip hinge, grip, pack, punch, through, and park. Up without.
Up without.
Then shake it out.
Okay.
Well, that
We have
was
one more
fun.
side, Lauren.
Oh, Ian does. I guess I should talk about that. So over top of your bell. Oh, tricky today. Zipping up, punching through, park out front. Again, step right over top. Get that shoulder packed. Feel the hips help you to punch through. Brace the abs as you keep it tight to the body and park it out front. I think you have one more.
Yep.
That out front position is not too far in front of you, but just as you would set up in that swing we did earlier today. Whew, great. Now,
Get up time.
get up time. That's what I was thinking.
Get up time.
Glad we're on the same page today. We are going to take that bell. Let's use our cheat clean now. So 1 hand up to the rack. Then we're going to press the bell overhead. Step back lunge. Let me just tell you. Here we go. Better in action. Hip hinge. 1 hand. Grip. Press. 2. Oh, you're coming with me.
Oh,
There's a follow the leader.
okay.
Don't rush. Then that leg you can touch. We'll step back lunge. Open up. Let's rotate hinge. Hand finds the floor. Hold. 3, 2. Hand leaves the floor. Front foot moves. Up to tall. Don't put the bell down. Repeat but addition. Step back lunge. Front foot opens. Rotate hinge. We're going to do a sweep, but we're not going to put our bottom down. So sweep to high bridge. Hold. Then sweep back through. Hand leaves floor. Front foot moves. Hippity hop. Pull with a vertical forearm. Let's place the bell down as we just practiced. Through, park out front. Up without.
Nice.
Whew.
I like that high bridge.
Thank you.
I like it. It's elegant, it's strong, and again, a little precarious sometimes, and that's what we want. Challenge
Totally
yourself.
planned.
It's a cheat clean on the other side now to that overhead position, rack, and a full press. Now that leg that we can touch, we'll drop it back in our lunge. Then open up, hinge on the hip and find the floor, and stack, straight line from the hand on the floor to the kettlebell overhead. Then press through, square up the lunge, tall tension as we stand. Repeating again with the addition of the sweep, so we're down in the lunge, open in that rotation or windmill, stack, 3 bases of support, foot and a hand, and then a knee, and press away, square up the lunge, stand tall, pull down that vertical forearm cue, and let's repeat that hike pass as we return it to the floor. Coming up, barehanded. Well, we learned how to get it down, and that's important. Now let's learn how to get that kettlebell from the ground or the park position up into that rack.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's go Lauren first, We'll do it together, and she can add some additional cues at the end. Start behind that kettlebell, like you would for the 1 or 2 hand swing. And instead of that long lever up front, we're gonna shorten it up and catch it in the rack. Hike pass and zip it up. Now let's return it out the back and then in the front in the park. Repeat 2 more, up the body, right back down, park. We wanna hear, ooh, I heard it. It's a little jump of that kettlebell in the hand, alluding to Lauren's firm, but soft grip to punch through that kettlebell. Let's join her on the other side.
It's a hip hinge, grip pack, pull, hip drive up the body, down the body, park. Repeat, pull, punch through, tight to the body, and park. Last one, tight abs, down the body, and park. If you're teaming in, you have to do your second side. So grip that bell, pack the shoulder, pull to zipper, hips. Your hips are sending so much energy into that bell. Your hand is just guiding the bell up and tight to your body to punch through. Right now, you have that light grip both on the up as well as on the down too. If we get too tight in our grip, we'll start to rip our hands. You will, no matter what, feel some calluses build up. We like that. So keep those.
Rough hands, that's what we all want. That's why we train. Not really, so use that pumice stone, but ensure those hands don't tear by knowing when it's just been enough on the grip strength. Get up time, let's do it. 1 more, each side, up and down. That was my idea. Lauren's looking at me like I think we should do 2 or something like that.
Well, I have an idea at the top, so let's just follow along.
What's your idea?
A clean and a press. Nice. Come on down. Nice. I was gonna leave it as a surprise.
Surprise,
surprise. Cuddle, roll, press. From here, it's a hip drive to your elbow. Then to your hand squishing the bug. Bridge and a sweep. Hand leaves floor. Front foot moves. Either stay with that bell over your head or pull it to rack. Through, ooh. Then from the floor, back to the rack position. Press it overhead. Go back down. I threw that park in because we haven't done a full clean yet. And I thought that would be a good idea. Take your time as you sweep back through. Find your elbow and find your back. Pull the bell down with control. Roll it. Sorry, got a little close.
That's all
and let
good.
It go.
I like that. So let's park it on the floor after a clean, and we'll do the same thing. 1 last repetition on this side. Cuddle it, roll, and 2 hand and press. Now we'll drive the hip. We'll sit nice and tall. Bridge, sweep. Press the floor away as we extend and stand tall with tension in the lunge. Now making sure you're not in front of a wall. Let's pull that down into the rack. Hike past to the floor. Park. Now we'll pull it back to the groin and zip up our coat and tension as we press. Then that leg that we can touch drops back with control. We open to the windmill. Hinge. Tall sit, elbow, and to our back. 2 hands, cuddle, leave it there. Now no hands if allowed, and we'll stand on up.
No hands.
No hands needed, excellent. And shake it all about. Well, we've done our get-ups. That is sacrosanct. Always get-ups for strength. The cleans, those swings, or just that deadlift. We'll continue our practice here doing sets of 3 cleans, left and right, and I go, you go. We're gonna try to add to that number, maybe towards 3 and 4s and 5s, and we'll see how we finish off over 5 quick sets.
Continuous cleans.
Continuous.
All right.
Continuous. If those continuous cleans are a little too advanced for you today, feel free to come back to 1-arm deadlifts or those 1-arm cheat cleans and add nice progressions by regressing a little bit, and we'll catch up maybe next week for more cleans, presses, and maybe Lauren's least favorite of all things, squat. Until then, let's go, Lauren. No rush, but set up with your kettlebell and up to 3 cleans per side. To the rack, hike pass. Rack, hike pass, tight abs at the top. Return it with the park, stand up in between, and let's do the same thing other side.
So you're going with one of us in that I-go setting, that equal work to rest ratio as you use that hip drive to punch the bell through to the rack position. We keep it tight to the body on the down and tight to the body on the up. The further out it is, the harder it is on our shoulders, the harder it is on our back. So keep it tight.
Tight to the body. It's the same thing with that barbell if we're lifting Olympic style. I don't talk about it too much because we don't do that, but it is that same idea of keeping the bar as tight to your body as safely possible.
All right, team Ian, another round of 3 here. Again, it's that light grip, but firm grip because you can't drop the kettlebell. The hip drop and that ab brace at the top. Are we adding a number or keeping the same?
+1, if that's for you. 4 repetitions here for that Team Lauren of yours as it goes from the hike out the back to that rack position. The offhand, let it move with the body. There's so many places for it, but we do like it kind of traveling with the body there and returning it to the floor. 4, and our rest is our go.
I'm trying to recover by shaking it out and staying loose. That's a fair amount of grip on our forearm, on that grip strength, so check in with that, see how it feels. If it needs a little less reps, take it. As well, we're catching our breath by breathing in and out our nose.
That's right. So for those of you recovering, in slow and out slower. For those of you cleaning or swinging, tie it at that exertion breath, the inhale, and then a casual park. 4 reps, comes quick, let's do it.
One thing really important to think about, other than all the other things, is that both hips are driving through on this clean. We want to avoid that 1-2, little swivel in the hips, which is probably likely to sneak in here and there, but try to catch it, think belt buckle, towards nose.
3s, 4s, and here's a set of 5, if that number, again, is feeling great and progressive for you. Do you have the right kettlebell? We want to make sure that you feel that urgency to use your hips, and we're not just arm curling it up. Sometimes the heavier load will help cue that. Be careful as you get heavier that the back is not doing the work, and instead it's the hips and abs. 5.
5 swings here. Nope, cleans for Team Ian. Good. Punch through that kettlebell. It's still the same pattern as that swing. So use your hips to come through, stand up tall like you're in your plank position, and guide that bell to the rack. We have one last side here.
Up to 5 reps. Hopefully it can be the same left and right, 5 on one and 5 on the other. But for any reason, call it done. Finish with integrity so we can stay safe and strong in our practice together. Nice. I love hearing that jump in the hand. It's a bit hard to pick up on the microphone, but look for that little release.
Snip, snap. Here we go. Last side for Team Ian. And yes, your non-dominant side is going to feel different than your dominant side. It probably just needs a little bit more practice. It's less refined and probably a lot of its skills. So take your time, keep working on it, and practice makes better.
3, 4, and 5. Well,
I think we should end.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should do a clean to the rack, a press overhead, a full get up down, a full get up back up, a pull down, and a clean to park the bell.
Count me in.
Sound great? Pick your bell of choice. I am going to start with my non-dominant hand. Just to spice it up. We start in that hike position, pull through to rack. Press kettlebell. Take the leg you can touch and drop it back. Step to open, rotate and hinge. Sweep through to the bottom, find your elbow, and find your back. Keep the bell up, leg heavy on the floor as you drive to the elbow, to the hand. Bridge sweep, push away. Square up, use both legs. Bell pulls down to rack. It's a through and a park. Whew. Nice little addition to our getup. Isn't that fun routine?
Love it. I do. So much that we're going to do it one last time here today. So again, we address the kettlebell by standing just behind it. Tip it on its side to preload. It's a hike to clean. Hike, clean, full tension to press. I adjust my stance a little narrower as I then drop back in my lunge. Open windmill. Find the floor. Sit tall, find the elbow, clear the wall, and find the ground. And then one more time, drive the hip. Sitting tall, bridging and sweeping. Hand leaves the floor, square up the lunge. Tall stand, and with control, back to rack, and ultimately quietly on the floor.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Let's finish with a little breath. So close that mouth, open those noses, nostrils, and let's take a nice breath in and a nice exhale. And then let's take a nice breath in, filling the cage in 360 degrees, and exhale. And as you do that, try to fill down here and avoid filling too much up here, and exhale. One more time, thinking about the same thing. Inhale on both sides. And exhale, let's add on some rules. Inhale for 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. Repeat in for 5. Hold 5. Exhale 5. Hold empty 5. In for 6. Hold for 6. Exhale for 6. This is going to be hard. Hold for 6. One more time. In for 4. Hold. Out. Hold. And relax.
I had to open my eyes there. That was nice and relaxing, but also for a subconscious activity like breathing, kind of hard when you put your brain into that. We'll put our brain to work here and using that bell. We'll do it all in this practice. But we don't just stop there. We have 2 more classes. We train on the other side of the room, bar movements for hip mobility, in addition to that kettlebell for some strength. And then on Saturdays, we play with our strength in the handstand and similar progressions and skills.
Join us at one of those 2 classes or anytime in the archive on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends, check out our Patreon page, check out our website, subscribe to our newsletter. You have so much homework.
And if you're local, it's a Santa Claus parade, so come on by. We have hot chocolate, we have coffee, we have giveaways. So for those local Guelphites in the bunch there, come on by. Check her out.
Guelph. Look it up on a map. Until next time, take care.
Stay strong.
And we'll train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.